comes, and working here on the quiz preview, what am I going to set this equal to? 90. That's what this means. So my equation, okay, is equals 90, but I have to add those two things together. So as you can see over on the board to my right, 90, add up the like terms and set it equal to that. So I got some x's to put together, 7 of them total. And then I've only got one plain old number. So that's the equation I've got to deal with. That's your biggest challenge on all of these. Can you set up the equation? So once I have the equation set up, now what? What's that? Yep, we have to solve these still. So if I'm working on getting my 7x alone, subtract the 41, I'm with you. And what's my last step going to be? Divide by 7. So x is going to be 7, but you'll notice there's not only one blank on this one, there's 3. So like, what's up with the rest of this? The measure of MNP, which is this angle right here, which is just 4x. But I know now what x is. X is 7. So I replace the x with 7, and then just multiply them together. So MNP is 4 times 7, or 28. And I'm going to do the same thing when it comes to PNQ. Okay, here's the expression. But again, when I get to x, I'm going to fill in with 7. Everything else is going to stay the same. Three times 7 is 21. Plus 41 is going to be 62. And the cool thing about this is I can know the answer's right, because if I add my two angle measures up, and they equal, in this case, the 90, I know I'm good to go. And off I go. That's going to be how basically all of these set up. It's just, can you figure out, combining the like terms and what do they equal? Next one looks like a straight angle. What does that equal? 180. So we know it's going to equal 180. And now again, find the things that are alike. Find your x's first. Add them up. Be careful on this next part. Yes, I'm combining like terms, but the signs matter. So yeah, it's like positive 15 minus 19 almost. It's like subtracting. So what would that be? Negative 4. Okay, so that's one small thing to kind of pay attention to. But now, we basically are going to do the same thing that we did in number 1. We're going to work on getting our x alone. And you're like, oh, so it's always like add or subtract first and then divide for the last step. Yeah. So if you're a creature of habit, if you like being able to do the same thing over and over, not having a lot of change, this is your thing. So let's see, what's our x going to be? 46. Okay. So just like before, once we get that, BCD is this guy. I'm going to fill in, so I'm going to have 2, okay, times the 46, good, plus 15. Just replacing the x with the x value, and working it out myself. And then the other one is just this guy. Yep. And some of you may say, well, now I've got a question. What if I'm so confident that my first answer is right, couldn't I just subtract this from 180 and get the same thing? You could. You could take that risk if you're really confident in your first one. But if you're not, go ahead and do it. Because even if there's some just strange little silly thing you do, I can help you fix that. You have to show me the equation. And then, of course, you'd be able to show me x. But then once you get here, I'd like to see on one of them how you got to the answer. Just one of them. But yeah, then if you can just mentally look at it and figure out the other one, that's fine. Absolutely fine. So then 3, now I got a triangle, and it's inside, so it's degrees. So how many degrees are in a triangle? 180, just like the straight angle. And just like we've done before, combine the x's. Don't forget to count the 1s because it doesn't see a number. There's still a 1 there. So 3 and 2 and 1, 6x. Yep, 5 and 4 is 9, minus 3 is 6. And you're like, dang, these all basically are the same thing. They're all two-step equations. Yes. And I'm still going to add or subtract first. In this case, subtract. And I'm still going to divide for the last step. 29. So then now as I'm looking for the angles, again, I'm just typing them in. So like here for m, yep, I'd have 2 times 29, which is 58, minus 3, 55 degrees. Swing around to n, it's just x plus 4. So 29 plus 4, 33. And then, yep, for p, it's 3 times x, so 3 times 29, which is 87, plus 5, which is 92. And if I did it right, those 3 angles should add up to 180, and they do. So again, it's just an idea, kind of getting used to this. So as I get down towards the bottom, basically, the problems match up with what I did right above them. 4 matches up with 1, 5 matches up with 2, 6 matches up with 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure we get you set up right on 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to give you some time to kind of work on those. So we'll slowly start to work our way up here. I just want to make sure that we've got the equations good and ready to go here. All right, so number 4. What's my equation going to look like? Perfect. 2x and 3x is 5x plus 55 equals 90. Okay? And then again, we just solve it, plug the x's in as we go. What about the equation on 5? Okay. 4x and 2x is 6x. 30 minus 18, I got to look at the sign, is 12. That equals 180. Nicely done. And then what about 6 for my equation? That. Good. 11 minus 3 is 8. Minus 4 is 4. Equals 180. And again, we solve for x, and then we just plug that into the mini expression. So that takes care of right angles, straight angles, and triangles. Basically, everything you see in black on your left, my right, side of the board, this covers all of those. However, as we work our way over to the back, so you're like, hang on, I'm trying to finish the front. You can come back. For the time being, just for the moment, flip over. So back here, and I hate it when I do that, those M's that you see, let's get rid of those, because I think they just confuse us more than anything else. Yeah, all these labels, I understand why the labels are there, but they really don't help us. So, perimeter, how do I find perimeter? You add up all the sides. So if I'm going to try and do my equation here, I need to find the things that are alike. So if I combine terms with these 3 things, what do I end up with? 2x, that's my only x term. Right. Because here, it's not angles inside, it's the perimeter, and they tell me what it equals. So I just add up everything on the outside and set it equal to the perimeter they give me. Otherwise, this works exactly the same as all the other ones did on the front. Divide by 2. So I get my 8, and then BC is just one of my sides, which is 2 times x. Well, 2 times 8 is 16, and I'm good. Now, 8, I tried to be helpful. I'll warn you. On the quiz tomorrow, you get a problem like this. It's probably going to look like that. I'm just going to give you one length and one width. So you'll have to remember, oh yeah, the opposites are the same on both of these. So when I go to do my equation here, x and x is 2x. 14 and 14 is 28. My perimeter is 50. Like, dang, it's a lot of two-step equations. I know we're going to be experts. Subtract my 28. And I agree, divide by 2. And x is going to be 11. And what happens is we keep going with 9, and then beyond that, 9 is sort of like what the problem will look like on the quiz. I don't tell you that this side is 2x plus 8, and this side is x minus 4. I just assume at that point that you're going to know that. So I know it equals 50, because that's my perimeter. And just, again, find your like terms, so find all your terms with x first. Add them all together. 2, 4, 5, 6 of those. 8 plus 8 is 16. Minus 4 is 12. Minus 4 more is 8. Be careful. Now take your time on those. There's lots of different terms to play with. I absolutely get it. And then again, just like we've done on the rest, I have to go ahead and solve this. I have to minus the 8 and divide by 6 to get my x. But I still, at this point, have to plug my x value in. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus 8 is 22. And then VW is just x minus 4, which is 3. And if I added those up, 22 plus 3 is 25, plus 22 is 47, plus 3 more is 50. I'm good. Okay? Yeah, we're working on the quiz preview, but yeah, it's just a review of all the stuff. Same stuff. So, the only thing left then that we have not done, well, at least on this sheet, is segments. Midpoint, if I have the whole thing. So I'm going to skip 10 for right now. I'm going to come down to 11. When you see midpoint, now, I gave a hint. The hint is, if it's midpoint, you set the two parts equal. So the 3x plus 12 and the 60 get set equal to each other. Number 11. There it is. So just like before, we're going to minus the 12 over, and then we'll divide by 3. Again, x isn't quite the end though. When I get here, again, AB is 3x, so 3 times 16 plus 12. 48 plus 12 is 60. And then we already know this part's 60, so AC is these two put together. So 60 plus 60, which is going to be 120. So that gets set up slightly different than number 12 does. We'll kind of keep number 11 in vision here so we can see the difference. Now they tell us how long the whole segment is. So when I go to write the equation, it'll equal the amount they give me, the length, 39. But I'm going to have to add or combine like terms here instead of setting them equal. So 5n minus 6 is 39. Okay, but the hint is, do they say midpoint, which means equals, or do they give you a value for the length, in which case we have to add those? So here for 12, we'll add the 6 over and divide by 5. And again, to get my values, RS is 2 times n, so 2 times my n value of 9, which is 18. And SB is 3 times my n value, minus 6. 27 minus 6 is 21. These are the types of problems, okay, that basically you'll be seeing tomorrow. Now, I will warn you one thing, though. There can be some problems with bisector and vertical angles. We talked about them Monday and yesterday. I didn't put one of those on here. But again, if you've jotted down the help from the front board, you can use that on the quiz tomorrow. But again, you have to have jotted it down, because it won't be up here tomorrow. The other thing I'll warn you of is I put a couple of regular equations at the bottom of the quiz itself that I put on the review. So like a little bit of distributive property, one with a fraction. Just to kind of keep getting some practice with that. So, just a couple of things to keep in mind. Like I said, the food for thought sheet, that's an extra credit sheet. That can wipe out an assignment maybe that you didn't do, or maybe you lost, or something like that before. So that could come in handy. But otherwise, maybe even if you've got a little bit of some of the other geometry sheets to finish up, you can do that, and then I can help you that way. Okay? So the quiz preview that we just did, nope, that's still a regular assignment. Yeah, the one we've been working on here is an actual assignment. I just gave an awful lot of help. So that should be one that for sure should get in from everybody. You only got a few problems left to finish up yourself. And again, if this is one of those things where you're kind of good at it when I'm doing it, but you're maybe not so good later, maybe this is something where you can take this with instead of turning it in. Maybe you just jot a couple of them down later, and if you get stuck, if you have computer access, you always can then pop me up and say, okay, let's have him explain it home. Let's think, oh yeah, and kind of work back through. Because if the only time you can do these is when I talk through every step, yeah, we're not there yet. Okay? So again, always look at the ones you've got already, and it will start to click, but you've got to do it on your own to reinforce it. Otherwise, it's not going to work out so well. So if any of them are giving you a hard time, let me know, and we'll get you set.